You know, when you walk down your street, have you ever really stopped to think about it? Why is there a park over there? Or why is your favorite coffee shop just around the corner and not, say, a mile away? Well, it's not a coincidence. It's all part of this invisible blueprint that shapes our world, and it's called town planning.
And that is the big question we're diving into. Who makes these massive decisions? Town planning is really this incredible mix of art and science, all about organizing our world, from the biggest highways right down to the bench you might sit on in the park. So, let's get into it.
All right, so first things first, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is town planning?
Okay, I want you to think of this definition like a three-legged stool. Planning isn't just about being efficient, making sure traffic flows and the lights stay on. It's also about being sustainable, building for the long haul. And, just as important, it's about creating places that we actually enjoy living in, places that look and feel good. All three have to be there.
So how do planners pull that off? Well, they have this whole toolkit of core principles. Things like land use zoning, which is basically the rulebook that stops someone from building a noisy factory right next to a quiet neighborhood. It covers everything from making sure you can get around easily to making sure our cities are built to last. It's a pretty complex job.
And you take those principles and you apply them to the key components of any town. It's almost like a recipe, right? You need the essential infrastructure, your roads, water, power. You need housing. You've got to have public spaces like parks, and you need a plan for jobs in the economy, all while making sure you don't bulldoze the town's history.
And let me tell you, it is a massive balancing act. Planners are constantly juggling the problems of today, like cities growing way too fast or roads and pipes that are falling apart, with these really ambitious goals for tomorrow. They're trying to build cities that are resilient, green, packed with technology, and fair for absolutely everyone.
So to see how all of this plays out in the real world, let's look at a fascinating case study, the history of town planning in India. And this isn't some new idea over there. Oh no, this goes back millennia.
This timeline gives you a sense of the incredible journey of city design in India. It's a real whirlwind tour. I mean, think about it. Over 4,000 years ago, you had cities in the Indus Valley with sophisticated grid layouts and drainage systems. You fast forward through these amazing medieval hubs, then the colonial port cities, and you land in the modern era with bold, brand new planned cities like Chandigarh. Every single one of these periods left its mark.
Okay, so that's the history. But how does that connect to right now? Well, today, the conversation in India, and honestly all over the world, is all about smart cities.
But what does smart actually mean in this context? It's not just about flashy gadgets and screens everywhere. It's really about using technology, things like data, sensors, and connectivity, to solve real-world city problems. And, most importantly, to fundamentally improve the quality of life for the people who live there.
And that vision breaks down into a few key areas. You've got smart governance, so you can access city services online without waiting in line for hours. You've got smart mobility, which uses data to make traffic less of a nightmare. And it's all built on this foundation of digital connectivity and really, really smart data analysis.
But, as you can probably guess, with a project this huge, this ambitious, it's not exactly a walk in the park. There are some major hurdles to clear.
For starters, finding the money is always tough. But beyond that, you have these really complex technical problems, like how do you get all these different smart systems to actually talk to each other? And then there are the human challenges, which are maybe the most critical. How do you make sure you don't create a digital divide that leaves some people behind? And how in the world do you protect everyone's data and privacy?
And that question brings us to what might just be the single most important piece of this entire puzzle. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about technology or these grand master plans drawn up by experts. It's about people. It's about you.
This quote here, it really captures a fundamental shift that's happening. For a long, long time, planning was a top-down thing. A few experts in a room made all the decisions. But we're realizing that model is missing a pretty crucial ingredient.
And that secret ingredient is you, your voice. Community engagement is absolutely essential because, let's be honest, residents are the real experts on their own neighborhoods. You know the shortcut that's not on any map. You know the intersection that desperately needs a stop sign, or that empty lot that would be perfect for a community garden. When people actually get a say, it just leads to better plans, period. And it builds trust.
Now, of course, it's not always easy. Getting the community involved has its own set of challenges. It can be really hard to balance what everybody wants and to make sure you're truly hearing from everyone, not just the loudest voices. But the benefits, they are so worth it. You get better decisions, more creative solutions, and stronger communities. It's a challenge we have to take on.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Your city, your town, your neighborhood, it isn't a finished product. It's a living, breathing story that's constantly being written. The plans being made right now are literally writing the next chapter. So the only real question is, how are you going to help write it?